In life, there's a truth that hits harder as you grow older. You don't just need people around you, you need the right people. You have to be wise about who you let in, even if they're family. Old age isn't a time to waste on people who drain your energy, manipulate you, or disrespect your boundaries. At this stage, your peace of mind, your health, and your happiness should be at the top of your priorities, and that means making hard choices about who gets to stay in your life. So let's break down the 5 people you must avoid in your later years, even if it means distancing yourself from family. As we grow older, we begin to realize that not all relationships are built to last. Some people enter our lives and leave us feeling drained, exhausted, and unfulfilled. These are the energy vampires, the people who seem to thrive on consuming your emotional, mental, and physical energy without offering anything meaningful in return. At first, it may not be obvious. They might come across as well-meaning, maybe even friendly or caring. But if you take a closer look, you'll begin to notice a pattern. Energy vampires are often the ones who can never stop talking about their own problems while offering little to no genuine interest in yours. They have a way of pulling you into their negative spiral, feeding off your concern, your attention, and sometimes even your compassion. Over time, you begin to feel weighed down by their constant demands, their complaints, and their need for validation. They're never content with what they have or where they are, and they always turn to you as their emotional outlet, leaving you feeling emotionally empty, like a sponge that's been wrung dry. The issue with these kinds of people is that they never seem to be satisfied, no matter how much you give, no matter how much of your time, patience, and energy you pour into them. It's never enough. They'll continue to demand more, yet offer very little in return. They often can't take responsibility for their own lives, instead shifting the burden onto you, expecting you to carry the weight of their unhappiness. And this can be incredibly draining, especially as you get older. Your energy becomes a valuable resource that you can no longer afford to squander on people who constantly deplete it without contributing anything meaningful to your well-being. The worst part is that energy vampires often refuse to acknowledge or respect your needs. When you try to express how their behavior affects you, they'll either dismiss your feelings or turn the situation back onto themselves. They make you feel guilty for needing space or for wanting to set boundaries. Their lives are a continuous cycle of crises, and they expect you to be the one to fix it, leaving you to carry the burden of their unresolved issues. This dynamic often leads to feelings of frustration, resentment, and helplessness because no matter what you do, their demands never end. At some point, you have to recognize the toll these people are taking on your life. You might feel like it's your responsibility to help them, to fix their problems, but it's important to realize that you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to conserve your energy for yourself, for your own health, happiness, and peace of mind. As you get older, you start to understand the importance of protecting your energy and guarding your time because you know that these are 2 of your most precious resources. You can no longer afford to let people leech off of you without giving anything of value in return. Letting go of energy vampires isn't always easy, especially when they're family or close friends. But it's a necessary step if you want to live a peaceful, fulfilling life in your later years. You deserve relationships that lift you up, that add joy and positivity to your life, not relationships that drain the life out of you. It's okay to distance yourself from people who only take from you and never give back. It's not selfish as self-care. You've earned the right to protect your peace and well-being. The older you get, the more you realize that the quality of your relationships matters far more than the quantity. And no relationship should ever cost you your peace. As you navigate the journey of life, especially as you enter your later years, you begin to see people for who they truly are. One group that you must be particularly cautious about is the manipulators. These individuals are skilled at controlling situations to their advantage, and they use subtle tactics to twist your emotions, thoughts, and actions to serve their own agenda. They don't necessarily come out and say what they want directly. Instead, they manipulate the circumstances using guilt, shame, and sometimes even love to get what they need from you. In your later years, when your energy, time, and emotional reserves are more limited, these people can be particularly dangerous. Manipulators often thrive on creating an illusion of kindness, acting as if they have your best interests at heart, when in fact they're only looking to exploit your vulnerabilities. They might come across as incredibly caring or thoughtful, offering help when you least expect it or showing an overwhelming interest in your well-being. But this is merely a tactic to gain your trust and lower your defenses. Once they've established that level of closeness, they begin to push their own needs, desires, and wishes onto you without regard for your own. They will often give you just enough to keep you attached and then pull it away when it's most needed, creating an emotional dependency that you might not even realize is happening. One of the most insidious aspects of manipulators is their ability to make you feel responsible for their happiness or well-being. They will use phrases like, if you really loved me, you would, or I thought you cared about me, but if you did, you'd help me with this. They make you feel guilty for not meeting their needs, even when those needs are unreasonable, or when you are simply unable to provide what they're asking for. This guilt-tripping behavior is designed to weaken your boundaries, making it easier for them to manipulate you into doing things that go against your best interests, all while making you feel like you are the one at fault for not complying with their demands. The manipulator's playbook often includes deflection, gaslighting, and creating confusion. When you confront them or call them out on their behavior, they'll turn the tables on you, making you feel as if you're overreacting or imagining things. They'll use your own words against you, twisting the narrative to make it seem like you're the one who's in the wrong. This form of manipulation can leave you second-guessing yourself, unsure of your own thoughts, emotions, and actions, making it difficult to trust your instincts. Over time, this type of mental and emotional toll can take a serious toll on your self-esteem and confidence. Manipulators also tend to be opportunistic. They will quickly sense any weakness or moment of vulnerability in you and exploit it to their advantage. Whether it's financial, emotional, or even physical support, they will take whatever they can from you without ever offering anything in return. In their minds, you exist to serve them, to meet their needs, to fulfill their desires. They won't hesitate to take advantage of your kindness, your loyalty, or your generosity, but they will rarely offer the same in return. You may find yourself constantly giving and never receiving, and if you express any discontent or dissatisfaction, they'll act as if you're being unreasonable or ungrateful. In your later years, the emotional and psychological burden of dealing with manipulators becomes even more damaging. With the wisdom and experience that age brings, you might recognize these behaviors more easily, but the emotional toll can still be great. Manipulators understand how to play on your vulnerabilities, your fears, and your sense of obligation, and they'll use every tool at their disposal to keep you in a position where they hold the power. They'll isolate you from others, subtly planting seeds of doubt about your relationships and making you feel like they are the only ones who truly understand or care about you. In order to protect yourself from manipulators, it's essential to learn to set and enforce clear boundaries. Recognizing the signs of manipulation early on is key to preventing it from taking root in your life. Trust your instincts and remember that a healthy relationship should be reciprocal. If someone is consistently taking from you, draining your emotional resources, or making you feel like you're always at fault, it's time to step back and reassess that relationship. You do not owe anyone your time, your energy, or your peace of mind if they are using you as a tool to fulfill their own selfish needs.